First of all, it's so great to catch up with you. You're
Thank you.
such a busy person.
Yeah, very, very busy at the moment. We've got a lot of films coming out and films being filmed and edited. We're right in the middle of it all.
And it's a good time to come out with documentaries and things like this because there's nothing else going on. And
Right. With the strike, it's been terrible down here in Hollywood. Really tough.
yeah, and especially this subject. I think this subject more than anything else, people are just naturally interested in what might happen after you die. And this documentary is a little unlike anything else that people may have seen, because you're dealing with a lot of people that really have seen and experienced
Right.
either life after death, or they're looking at cryogenics, or spirits and things like that. So let's get started. First of all, are you interested in the paranormal, if I could call it that?
Yeah, I mean, my entire life, I've always had this fascination with the occult, the afterlife, and aliens, extraterrestrials, all of that sort of stuff. So, even though I kind of lead a pretty normal life day to day in my spare time, that's kind of what I trip out on.
I think everybody has either witnessed something or seen something, but we kind of disqualify it. I've just seen things, or I heard a noise.
Right.
It's the dishwasher. Um, but I think there's more of this going on than there isn't. I think we're just told that it's not true, it's not happening. We talk ourselves into it.
It's interesting, like obviously the more time I spend in this world, the more people I speak to, and the more I realize that pretty much every single person on this planet has had a paranormal experience, whether it's feeling like there might have been a ghost in the house because things have gone missing or doors have slammed, or seeing things in the sky. The only issue has been that because it was so unacceptable to say that you had witnessed these things, people wouldn't come forward. But you fast forward to 2023, where it is acceptable, and I guarantee you, Tony, every second person you ask the question, "Have you ever experienced anything paranormal?" They'll be like, "Well, let me tell you." It's crazy. It's happening everywhere.
Well, it's also just recently, this year, the government has declassified a lot of UFO stories and things like that. So
Right.
we're on a threshold here, I think, of maybe some new discoveries, or rediscovering some old theories,
Yeah.
which is talked about a bit in the documentary. When you're interviewing some of these people, I mean, are do you do you feel their honesty in all of this as an observer?
Yeah, yes. Most of the time, yes. So, I've met so many people. Like, I'm an interviewer first and foremost. And so have spent a lot of time staring into people's eyes. And I'm very aware of the tells that people give away when they're lying, such as, looking up to the left and fidgeting in certain ways. And for the most part, people I think are telling the truth. Some of these stories are just so heartfelt and so detailed that you just couldn't imagine that someone would be lying about it the way that they are.
Yeah, especially when talking about a relative or someone that they held dear to them, you would think, wow, and then what are they getting out of this? Is the other
Exactly.
thing.
Exactly. What are you getting out of it? One part of the movie is that I interview some near death experiences, and we try and learn about near death experiences. And before I made this movie, I thought that there were only a handful of people that had had these experiences, because that's all you hear about, right? The odd story here or there, but no one really knows anything about what's going on. But what I learned is that 1 in 12 people that code on the operating table actually have a near death experience. 1 in 12. Over 1 million people a year report having a near death experience. So as soon as they wake up on the table and they've been brought back, the first thing they say is, "Oh my God, I
Have
went to
you
this place," and they it spews out of them. "I went here and I saw this and I saw that," and and like 1 million people a year, and that's just what we've been reported. I mean, it's a worldwide phenomena, but it's something that nobody's talking about, which I think is crazy.
Yeah, but also when you interview scientists that,
Yeah.
are not sure anymore, because it's the science of all of this is not perfected yet.
No, I mean, I believe after making this documentary, I believe that I don't think we're meant to know everything. I
Hmm.
think if we knew how wonderful and utopian life after death was, there'd be a lot more suicides. I'm deadly serious, like life can be really tough. And most of us, we hold on till the bitter end, right? But if we knew that everything was going to be amazing, we'd have this fantastic experience over there. I mean, that could be a problem. I think that that's why a lot of that knowledge is kept from us. We're given just enough to have some hope, but not enough to make us long for this other place.
Yeah, it's a matter of faith and belief over hard fact. And every once in a while, you get a child who's 3 or 4, remembers a former life or remembers things, that can be documented, and then as they grow, they forget. It's a very interesting human characteristic we have of being able to see a little bit further. But I think it's a natural thing. I think we're born with it. We just don't exercise it.
That's right. And I think, like near death experiences have been happening since humanity existed. But the only difference is that up until, the late 90s, early 2000s, we didn't have this thing called the internet. We had
Yeah.
4 channels on our television. And so there was no way of us to be able to communicate all of these stories and all of these similarities with each other. Fast forward to 2023, and everybody's talking, like most people can't wash the dishes or go to the bathroom without, oh my God, I just went to the bathroom on Instagram. And I think so people often say, I wonder why there's so many near-death experiences now.
Yeah.
I think they were always there. We just weren't sharing those stories.
Talk to me about cryogenics, because, this is a science that's been around for 60, 70 years.
Right.
And, there are rumors that Walt Disney is frozen and
Yeah.
all of that, but those are just rumors. Have they perfected anything in cryogenics?
Haha, it's very interesting. So first of all, let me say that it was a privilege to be able to go there, and I was so impressed by the technology and the philosophy behind what they're trying to do. It's founded by a man called Dr. Max Moore, and he's an atheist. And so for him, he truly believes when you die, there's nothing. And so if I was an atheist, I would probably consider getting frozen.
Hmm.
His philosophy is if there's nothing else, then we may as well give it a shot, right? And so in that respect, yeah, I get it. I don't believe that there is nothing, though. I believe there is something, so I would never do it myself. But it was interesting being there. Two key takeaways that I thought were crazy. One is that if you freeze somebody's cells, when you thaw them out, they are degraded so much so that the body could never come back to life. It would just be mush. Just like if you store meat in your freezer for 5 years, it's just you thaw it out and it's liquid. So what they do is they don't freeze you, they vitrify you. And vitrifying is a process where they put something similar to antifreeze
Yeah.
through your veins. So you're kind of in suspended animation in a way. So that was the strange thing number one. Strange thing number two is that they don't know how to thaw you out. They don't know how to do it. So if I was frozen and I wanted to be thawed out tomorrow, they can't do it. If they try, I'll die. So you're getting frozen under the premise that one day they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting, and like it's your body, it's your life, it's your soul.
We just had a very interesting experience with vitrification with that mummy that was found. It was a 14-year-old girl that they found who's frozen for like 40,000 years and in
Incredible.
perfect shape. I mean, the lungs, everything was there. There's even blood in the heart.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so that was a natural vitrification that I guess it was from a diet or something. DMSO used to be something that they would use as well, but it's an interesting science, and I haven't caught up to it in about 20 years. So I was just wondering if there's been
Yeah.
any improvement.
There have not been any advances, unfortunately, whatsoever. They have been able to learn how to not freeze, vitrify the body in a better way that will cause less degradation. They have at times, because you can freeze your body or you can just freeze your brain. Okay. And the reason you can just freeze your brain is they're saying that if your body was already riddled with illness, in the future they'll have synthetic bodies. So you could just have your brain put into like a new and synthetic body, you know. And they have actually brought out brains from the freezing process and put electrodes into them to test whether or not that the brain was still viable. And they have seen that the brain is still viable.
Wow.
But you know, the only way you'll know if they'll last the test of time is by waiting.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be that guy whose brain is just there. Wait, am I awake? What?
I know, but you know,
horrible.
I definitely have a macabre curiosity for it. I mean, wouldn't it be cool to wake up in the year 3724? I mean, like, what a trip.
Think of the back taxes you owe.
Oh,
They're
right.
just never going to let you. Student loans are due. It's just terrible.
The thing would open, but it would be like a reptilian extraterrestrial, and you'd be like,
Oh, it sounds preferable to some of the things that are going on today, though.
well, this is true. This is very true.
In our final moments we have, and thank you, Serena, for you're just so fun to talk to.
Oh, thanks, Tony.
What do you think audiences are going to take away from the new documentary?
One thing that I've loved, I've been doing a lot of interviews for this, and there was a surprise that happened, something I wasn't expecting. So many interviewers have told me about their loved ones that have passed away, and while talking, they've cried and said that the movie has helped them to deal with the grief and helped them to heal. Have you had anyone in your life, Tony, that's passed that was close to you?
I have. My mother, when she passed, we had some interesting conversations after she had passed, and it's nothing that's really scary or horrifying. It's just something from another place.
You've seen a medium and you've channeled your mom. Is that what you
No,
mean?
I hear her in my head, and
Wow.
it's very interesting. And my brothers have that as well. They just
Right. That
we can-
connection.
yeah,
And
but
it
it's
does heal you, doesn't it? Not knowing that they're like okay and that they live on in some way, definitely makes you grieve less, don't you think?
yeah. Well, it grieving is like breathing. There's different levels to grieving as well. But I think that the dead, this is my own opinion, doesn't come from anywhere, but I think the dead are only restless when we are,
Yes.
and we're not comfortable with something. I don't really think that horrific events create ghosts. I think that it's the living that is haunting the dead in a way.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I definitely can. It's not the first time that I've heard that. I don't know. Like, I don't know what happens to us when we die. I definitely believe that our body dies, but our soul does not. Where it goes, what it does, where it's going to
The
go.
universe is great at recycling, and
Right.
keeping those things that are of value and reusing them. So, even other lives and things like that. I think that might be something, and it's been talked about for,
Right. And I
two
mean,
or three millennia.
at the end of the day, we're stardust, I
Star
am made
stuff,
of
yeah.
a rock that was flying around the universe a trillion years ago. And look at me now. I mean,
Yeah.
people forget how magical it is to be a human being and live on this ball called Earth. I mean, if the sheer fact that we exist means that anything is possible.
Yeah, in any place as well. So, is there going to be another documentary, a follow up of some kind?
About Beyond the Grave, we're going to see how this one goes, but we do have a few more coming out. We've got a lot in the UFO and alien genre. So our next film is called We Are Not Alone, and that's exploring what we know about the visitations that we've been having from extraterrestrial beings, and what their message is for humanity. So
Will you come out here to Utah and take a walk through Skinwalker Ranch? That's supposed to be heavy UFO stuff.
Ooh, I'm so fascinated by it. I would have already been there before, but it's so like tied up with the Discovery Channel right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
No
Yeah.
one's allowed on there. But I'm so intrigued, right?
I just think what you do is just amazing and so much fun. And the other stuff that you've done, you've hosted, you've done a plethora of wonderful entertainment, and
I do weird stuff.
yeah, but keep weird, stay weird. That's always a good thing.
Oh, thanks, Tony. I most certainly will.
Thank you, Sabrina, and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye, sweetie.
Thanks, Tony.